I'm Joel from Insert Audio. I just quickly want to go over some of the new features in the latest update of the app. So the previous version only dealt with plugins, but now we can import all of our Cubase shortcuts and commands, which I've already set up here. But what you would do is in the preferences, which you can access from the menu bar, you come into the commands section, import detected XML, and then reinstall the DAW script. So I have already done all of that. It's already set up on my side, and I've clicked enable all here, which has enabled everything that it finds. But you can also selectively enable or disable commands that you'd like to appear in this quick picker here. So like here, for example, if I search velocity, you can see there's a bunch of my MIDI logical presets being pulled up. So you have access to MIDI logical presets as well as your project logical presets and all your Cubase commands and shortcuts. So that's commands, which is a pretty cool feature. Also, what's been added is the macro. So if we go to the Flow macro tab here, we can create our own macros. So what you do is you go to the section and you put in the name of your macro and add it. And then you can search for commands in this list and add them like this. And you can also set your own delay times in increments of 50 milliseconds. So you can play around and see what works best on your system, chaining commands together like that. And then the way we invoke the macros is with the /m command. This will show you all your available macros, and you can execute them from the quick picker. Next up is palettes. So what this does is it creates little floating palettes that you can keep pinned on your screen, so that you can just click to execute the action, and you can assign thumbnails to them. So for example, here's one that I've created, and you can access this by going to /p for palettes, and I'll open this utility one. So here's this utility palette that I've created. You can create headings and dividers as well. So like here, for example, I've got a heading, flow controls. So this, for example, will invoke the quick picker. This will open the main app. Okay, it opened on another screen. And then just some example Cubase commands. In this view as well, what you can do is you can have it listed as a list view. By clicking here on this icon, it'll switch to a compact list view and a grid view, like that. And you can have multiples of these if you want. So for example, here's a plugins one that I made. I'm just going to open it. And here's plugins. So you can place them on your GUI. You can pin them if you want so that they stay on top. And this way you can have a command surface that's always available. There's some other options. For example, if you don't want to use a thumbnail, you can use built-in symbols, and you can set a color for the symbol. You can also reorder by drag and drop, and this will then be updated live in the palette. So works the same as the macros. You can search for your actions here, and then you add them into your palette. Palettes and macros, which I forgot to mention, can be assigned to shortcuts or MIDI. So you can call them or dismiss them via hotkey or a MIDI binding. Then the next thing is track archives. So what you can do is if you do use track archives, you can add a folder where you store your track archives, and the app will scan them. And so in the quick picker, if you want to get a quick overview of your archive tracks, you can invoke it with the arc, and you can see these are the archive tracks, and hitting tab will expand the view, and it gives you an overview. So this archive has got these plugins and these instruments in it, how many media files, what the tempo is, and if there's any time signature changes or tempo changes, etc. So that's archives. And then the rest is mostly unchanged, just a few refinements here and there, like in the general setting. You can keep the quick picker open after running a command if you want, or it can auto dismiss after running the command. And you can choose to only show commands that you've enabled. So you can have a nice short list of commands if you want. Otherwise, it will display everything. Yeah, I think that's about it. And one last thing I just want to mention, which is not included in this update, but is something I'm working on. If you use Vienna Ensemble Pro, you know that VSL just released an update which allows it to be controlled by an agent. So they've got an API now and an MCP. So I've begun a bit of an implementation in Insert Flow. So I'll give you an example. If I go over to Ensemble Pro, I'll call up using V for VEPRO. I'm just going to create an instance. So it creates an instance, and you can call any of the factory track sets that it comes with or ones that you've made yourself. But I'll just give an example here. I'll say call up a prime instrument, prime timpani, and run that, and there we go. We've got, so it handles insertion of channel sets at the moment. You can also do effects. So if I go VFX, and we'll just choose slot 1, and let's say Pro Q, okay, Pro DS. There we go, it inserts Pro DS. You can also target the slots pretty much the same way you can in Cubase. You can enable them, disable them. There's a lot in this API, and there's a lot that it can do. Obviously, it's tailored towards agentic use, but the cool thing about using it with Flow is that you don't need an AI. And if you know what you're looking for, you can just run the command without having to have an AI subscription or whatever to use it. So I think that's a pretty cool addition, and it is coming in the next update. So say, for example, here as well, inside Cubase, I'll just connect this to my instance. You can also just do stuff like, raise the instance, things like that. So, like I said, there's a lot that it can do. I've only implemented a small handful of things that are quite useful, but the catalog will grow as I work on it. So that's it for the update, and keep me posted if you like the app. If you have any feature requests or any issues, bug reports, whatever, feel free to get in touch. I'm always available. Okay, thank you.